My bad. I'm gonna get better with this. I'm gonna get better with the time, and then I'm gonna get better with the time, y'all. My bad. And normally give you a countdown. The last couple of times, it didn't give me no countdown. I'm gonna do better with the time, cause I joined in that give me no countdown at all. Coach is coming back too. Yeah, that joint didn't give me no time. I didn't even know. It didn't give me a countdown at all. Word. I appreciate that too. And I got some more of your questions. I jotted your questions down, Terry, too. Yeah, my bad, coach. That joint didn't give me no countdown this time either.
No, it's all good, man. I know how it go. I mean, that hour go quick. I mean, when you just talking.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it, yo. Like, cause and then like I told my homegirl that be helping me with my questions and stuff. She's the head coach at Hampton High.
Okay.
And she helps me out a lot with the questions behind the scene because I'm gonna definitely try to turn this into something else. Like I've been wanting to do a podcast for a minute.
Okay.
So I'm gonna turn it into that, but I didn't even know. Like I'm like, dog, I didn't even know they go like that. Like an hour go that like that. I'm just pinning something right now. Uh, what's going on? Everybody, most people know who you are by now, but I'm just pinning it just so I can have it. Yeah, but yeah, that joint fly by. And then, like I said, I always like when I start doing these lives, it be feel like I'm about to play. Like I get like people like I get game day minutes a little bit from coaching.
Yeah.
From new joints, I get I don't know, like at the beginning of it, right before we get started, I get a little nervous or something like, you know what I mean? And then once we get started, I'm like, it goes smooth because we just talking and rapping or whatever. And then like people were sending mad questions. I know they probably typed with me because I didn't even know about that feature. I'm showing my age. Like it's a feature where they send questions to you in the joint, and I didn't even know they was in there. It was like 6 questions in there. So if y'all send them back, I'll make sure that we get to them. And
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
I'm gonna do a little bit more questions this time because we was talking. But I like that though, the way it was going. Though it was going really well. But yeah, we was talking about like COVID and how that joint it just came out.
Yo, Weezy just jumped in. Ole Miss head coach. What's up, yo,
Of,
Weezy?
hey, how
Yeah.
you? I appreciate you tapping in. Y'all follow me. I'm gonna follow your back because I can expand my network too. Because I like meeting new people. I was just telling my man I had on last week. He's from LA. You know what I mean? So he was giving me that LA perspective, like he was giving me the New York perspective coming out of the projects,
Yeah.
making it happen. You know what I mean? I've been to LA a few times. It's just it's something different. You know what I mean? Like coming out of Los Angeles and all that, what they got to deal with out there. So I know a lot of people was asking questions about like recruiting questions and stuff like too, but I'm gonna get into some of that too. I kind of like with this platform a little bit because I think a lot of people didn't know like a lot of the success you had, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of the things that you guys are doing over there, like your DVD that you got out about your defensive stuff, like how much of a good basketball mind you guys are as a staff. And, so I wanted to get a lot of that out in that hour to let people understand what's going on over there. And, just so they can, I just think people just don't do a lot of research when they when their kids are getting recruited. I get some coaches tell me how kids respond back to them in text messages. It's crazy to me. You know what I mean? I was at our group chat for our EYBL team. You know what I mean? I was telling the guys like, "Yo, get a real email with your name in it or something.
Yeah.
Then take the craziness out, or you can keep that email, but create another one." You know what I mean? Like it's just small things I don't think these kids be knowing. And you know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, yo, I see some of the emails that the kids send to me, like I put it in our Nike stuff so they can make a book. Like they still making a book for the EYBL kids and they sending it out to coaches or whatever. So I'm like, damn, email address is crazy. And then I look, some of the parents' email addresses are crazy too. So I guess that's, it's just nuts. Some of the lessons guys don't get. And that just touches back on the thing that we were talking about earlier about black coaches having black men play for black coaches to me.
Yeah. A lot of times with those emails and stuff like that you're talking about, man, it's like, you get a million emails a day. Like you said, it would be nice to get your name in the email and not just saying, this is killer1 at
Yeah,
gmail.com. Like, who's the killer one? Don't even sound like somebody I want in my program. So, we got to figure out, who you are or anything like that. But even we talking about like the DVD stuff, or whatever. It's just about trying to change the culture a little bit because when Championship Productions reached out to me about doing a DVD, I think I was like the first. I might be still the only HBCU coach on the whole Championship Productions website, and they got like 50,000 DVDs up there, and between all sports, So they reached out to me, and I think it shocked them because it was like the number 6 selling DVD, like on that website out of all those thousands of DVDs and everything like that. So then they reached out to me again to do like a night coaching clinic, and it's so funny, man. Like when I did like the coaching clinic, I did it at UConn. Like it was the first one I did. And I actually was like a fill-in for somebody else who couldn't make it, so they called me, and I went to do it. And I think I did a pretty good job. I think I knocked out the box. So then, like, I think they were almost shocked, because of that whole stigma too about me at coach, black coach, HBCU coach, or whatever. That when I went up there, that I knew my X's and O's. You know what I'm saying? So they ended up asking me to come back and do a Myrtle Beach one, and it's so funny because I did the Myrtle Beach one too. But then like people started seeing the flyer, they're like, "How'd you get hooked up with Championship Productions?" Because it's like, they usually don't take black coaches or HBCU coaches, or whatever. And I'm just like, through just merit, I didn't have a hookup with that. That was just like, yeah, that was just merit, that they and I end up doing like their coaching clinic thing recently and things like that. So, but once again, it's trying to just break the mold of what people think HBCU coaches do. It's like once again, like I said about the kids, that if and I'm gonna use Yo Weezy, I'm gonna use you, Yo Weezy. I mean, like if Ole Miss got 20 pairs of sneakers or 10 pairs of sneakers or whatever, then Norfolk State's gonna have 10 pairs of sneakers. So if Ole Miss coach is going to do Championship Productions or do a DVD, I want to do a DVD too, because I think that I can present the same kind of knowledge as anybody else can present. So it's just about taking away the whole HBCU thing. Even when I'm recruiting, a lot of times, man, I don't even talk about the whole HBCU because I think a lot of times people know we're HBCU. So there's no need for me to talk about it too much. I think that you already know by the time I get into your living room, you already know that we're HBCU. So I tell you about the wins that we had, the success that we had, that if you come here, you can do just what like anybody else could do. If you want to go to the NBA, be good enough. You could go to the NBA. Kyle O'Quinn has made $25 million in the NBA. He had one scholarship from Norfolk State. The NBA is going to recruit the best players in the world. Be one of the best players in the world, and you go to the NBA. So
I saw some other NBA guys too in your tenure coming through, like Danny Green and
Danny
and all those guys, and I think it was another guy saying
Tobias Harris.
Yeah, Ebanks.
What's it? Devin Ebanks, Maurice Harkless.
Yeah.
So I had a couple of guys. That's why Tobias, when he came to the A&T when we played A&T last year. The A&T, his brother played at A&T, but it was a perfect game to come to because I was there. I had trained him when he was like 7th, 8th grader. And then he was coming to St. Mary's before I left to come to Norfolk State. But he ended up going to, I forgot what high school he went to. I think Long Island Lutheran or Half Hollows or something like that, or whatever the case might be. But he was coming to Norfolk State, so like after the game, we was kicking it. And he actually talked to the team, after the game and stuff like that. I think a lot of the guys were like almost shocked because sometimes people just be saying stuff like sensationalize like who they know or who they coached or something like that. But then, when you see the guy like who's, Tobias Harris signed a, $180 million contract, you see him walking. You see him walk into your locker room. You're like, oh, coach ain't lying. He really did,
And that was at Norfolk State. I was at that game.
Yeah, it was at Norfolk State. Yeah, that was at Norfolk State. So it's like, that's what happens. It's like, I try to tell people all the time. I try to give people different stories from the players I've coached because I think that anybody can set themselves up to have a chance if you put in the work, but it has to be a work ethic involved in it. It's like always, I tell the team all the time, it's like what Michael Jordan says, work ethic negates fear. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you step on that court, it shouldn't be any fear if you already put in the work. Now, if you did put in the work, you should be scared to death because you don't know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? But if you put in the work, it shouldn't be any fear. So my thing is that with the team or individually, if you want to step out there and try to be the best player in the conference or in the world or whatever, then you better put in that work. And if we want to be a good team, then we got to put in that work. Because our non-conference is crazy. Like a lot of people look at like, oh, the MEAC conference is rated one of the lower conferences or whatever. Yeah, okay, that's cool. But what I always say to them, I come back to is that, okay, you tell me 4 teams in the West Coast Conference outside of Gonzaga.
Right.
And people start thinking like, oh, well, some people say St. Mary's and stuff like that.
No, and I'm in the game. I'm in the mix.
And then it's over. So it's
Yeah.
like, you know, you got to make your team, you know, be the best possible team, you know, they can be, you know, and then we play any and everybody outside of conference. Every year, scheduling gets harder and harder because of the success that we have. You know, like
I want to see you play while you
huh?
at the. So you know who I want to see you play while you at the helm with your staff?
Who's that?
ODU.
Oh man, I mean, and this is not no secret. So it's like, you know, and Jeff, you know, I talked to Jeff plenty of times or whatever. The one thing I will give credit to Jeff was that at one point there was no talk of us playing Old Dominion when Coach was it Blaine Taylor was the coach. He wanted no parts of playing NSU, no parts, you know. But when Jeff got there, he said, "Hey, we're gonna at least scrimmage," you know. So we scrimmaged, and then that scrimmage turned into a game, you know, at their place. It was a close game. I think we lost by like 8 or 9, 7, you know, something like that. Then we played the beginning of the scope, and we lost about the same 8 or 9, you know, and stuff like that. And we actually was winning that game down the stretch, you know, and you know things just fell apart a little bit. But going into that Old Dominion game, especially one at the scope, people were like, "You're gonna lose by 30," and I'm like, "Are we playing the Bulls or something? Like, who are we playing tonight? You know, like who are we playing tonight? You know, they're you know, Old Dominion is a great program. You know, no can't take anything away from them. But I think that we run a pretty good program too, and I think that opened up people's eyes more. You know, when we played that game, that like it's in the sport of basketball. I don't know about any other sport. In the sport of men's basketball, you know, we are very, very like similar. You know what I'm saying? Like, so now they don't want to play anymore. You know, they don't want to play anymore because now it's like, okay, the games keep getting closer and closer. If it keeps getting closer, they're gonna lose. You know, and they don't want to play. So, I mean, that's the easiest game. I mean, honestly, it's the easiest game for Old Dominion too to play because it's like, from a travel standpoint, I mean, we're spending maybe $1,000 for the bus to take us from one place to the next. You know, instead of going to spend $15,000-$20,000 to go fly to like we play TCU this year coming up, you know, or whatever. And it's like, you know, go fly to Fort Worth, Texas, or wherever that's from, or anything like that. So it's like, you know, I mean, you know, just players. I see some of the comments. Is funny.
I'm laughing at them too.
Yeah. Weezy, I ain't trying to get nobody fired, man. People say I got Avery Johnson fired. I would never try to get a man fired, but at the end of the day, it's a dog-eat-dog world. You know, it's like
my man is in here right now. That's always with me, Coach Mack. I think we was on the phone. You know what I'm saying, when y'all was playing them. I was like, yo, he gonna get. And I like Avery Johnson, and I'm like, yo, he gonna get Avery fired. He about to be. He gonna get Avery fired. Like, I'm like, yo, y'all. It was like never a separation in that game unless y'all separated from them. You know what I'm saying? But they never had no advantage in that game, or none of that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, that's crazy.
And it's like when you play like these big schools, I always tell my team the biggest thing is that if the pressure is really not on you, it's like the pressure's not on us. You know, sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves that like we say like, oh, we got to go pull the upset against Alabama, or we got to go pull the upset against North Carolina or whatever. No, Alabama and North Carolina and Kentucky, the pressure's on them not to lose to you. So you might as well just go out there and play free. You know, and sometimes we're too tight. But the thing is that I always say that if you could punch them in the mouth first, you know, or if when they punch, you can counter punch, it's like, oh, you know, one, it gives you confidence, and two, it like gives them like, oh, we know we're in a real fight tonight. And so then when it gets close, like the Alabama game, they were up 10 or they were up 10 and before I think Jameson hit 3 going to halftime. So it was a 7-point game going into half. You know, I go into the locker room, I hear commotion. I thought like my guys were like fighting or something like that, you know. And they're like, you know, I busted in the locker room, like, what are we doing? Like, we're on a 7-point game. They're like, nah, coach, we're saying that we're gonna win, you know, like that. So I'm like, okay, all right. Well, this is what I told you before that. And just to jump, you know, around a little bit is that sometimes we psych ourselves out. You know what I'm saying? It's like we walk into the arena and I see, like, especially in this day and age of cell phones, people got their cell phone up filming their arenas. I'm like, come on, man, you already psyching yourself out. Like, these guys put on their shoes and they pants just like you. And I promise you that he's not going to just outcoach me, you know, like, you know, or my staff. So it's like, you know, it's up to us just to go out there and play, you know, and then we're able to get some of those, you know, some of those upsets. Like I said, we've had more than Alabama and Missouri. We've got some other upsets in season, but I know those get the biggest, and they should, because you know, we're blessed at Norfolk State to have the the biggest point spread margin of victory in NCAA history and NIT history by one school, which is crazy, which happens to be HBCU, which happens to be, in Norfolk, Norfolk, Virginia. Like we were 21.5-point underdog against Missouri, and we were 16-point underdog against Alabama, and we won both of those games. A lot of people think that the UMBC thing is the biggest upset, in NCAA history, but it's not. They were a 21-point underdog, and we were 21.5, so we still got them beat by half a point for the record. Man. So,
crazy. Because I just be like, man, when I was so tuned into that, like you said, those games get the biggest, just because
without question, without question, they get the biggest thing. Like one guy said, I just saw, when we played Bowling Green last year, we beat Bowling Green, and Bowling Green was like the 6th or 7th or 5th, top 5 mid-major in the country. They got some top 25 votes, and we were able to beat them in Atlantic City, as well. So it's like, there's other wins outside of those things, but once again, platforms like this and being able to put things out more to the media to really let the people understand what's happening at Norfolk State, basketball. So,
it's funny that you said that, because a couple of years back we went to Pittsburgh and the Pittsburgh Jam Fest. One of my assistant coaches, he was talking to, I guess, some of the players that we were about to play.
Yeah.
I guess they had heard of Boo Williams or whatever. So this is when we were the second team or whatever. And so he came back and told me he was talking to the kid. He's like, the kid was nervous, about playing us or whatever. I was like, oh yeah, we're about to smack them. Yeah. So I'm telling my guys, I'm like, yo, all the guys that had like a lot of bounce or whatever, those type of AAU tournaments, they don't care about dunking and layup lines and all that.
No, they don't care.
Go crazy in the layup line, yo. Just go crazy. I don't care if y'all missing them, because they already scared. You know what I mean? So the guys coming out, reverse dunking and windmilling, and I think we jumped out on them like 16-0, and I was like, yeah, they were scared from the jump. You know what I mean?
You could lose the game from the time you walk in if because basketball's so mental. If you think that when you if you walk into Rupp Arena and start doing a tour of Rupp Arena, you already lost the game, man. You lost the game. It's over. And then it helped. I mean, it doesn't hurt that Kentucky is pretty good. Usually night in and night out. So between you being already nervous and then the team being good, you've lost the game already. So, it's like we tell our man, I tell our guys all the time, man, the guys will tell you that I'm mad if we lose to one of those big teams. I don't care if we lose by, like last year we played, it's funny, I'm messing around with Coach Weezy, but it's like we played Ole Miss and we played them tough. Like we should have beat them, and it's like people after the game are like, oh man, you guys are so good, blah, blah. I'm like, we lost, man.
Right.
We lost. Like, we got to figure out how to win these games, man. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, I'm not happy just being close to like a team like that. I want to beat those teams,
So do you think you think that's one of your biggest accomplishments, doing, making playing in or playing after conference play, getting to play in March, a little further in March, like the NITs and stuff like that? What do you think your biggest accomplishment has been at State since you've been the head guy?
I think just well, I mean, some of the biggest. I mean, I think since I've been there, I've just used my whole career there, and I think just changing the culture there, because like every winning season that Norfolk State has a Division I program, I've been a part of.
Right.
Every the first highest wins, the second highest wins, third highest wins, in program history, I've been a part of. So the thing that I tried to do when I first got there was to try to change the culture. Like when I first got there, Norfolk State was like a 9-7 team in the MEAC, or 8-8, I forget what it was exactly. And I'm like, this is not good enough. And this is me as an assistant coach. So I'm like, we gotta go get better players. We gotta do some stuff, to get better and better and better and better. And we did, and then we were able to have some good wins over some really quality opponents. And we've done that, and my thing is now, like, we gotta get back to the NCAA tournament. That's my next thing. And I think after that, like, I think I've checked all the boxes that I need to as like as a head coach here at Norfolk State. And I would love to stay here, as long as I can. But I think if I could get the team back to the NCAA tournament in that one bid league, because most people don't understand, like, we're not in the ACC, so it's like if you don't play well for that week, in that MEAC tournament, it's like your whole season was almost a wash, and you could really been really good, but you get upset by the 8th seed or 9th seed, and it's over. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that tournament is so tough. There's so much pressure put on that tournament, so you got to go out there and try to perform and make it happen. But my thing is try to get back to this every tournament. Last year, winning that NIT game, that was a step in the right direction. I thought that this year would be the step to get us over the hump. Now we got to wait for next year and see what happens to get us over the hump. I know the fans at Norfolk, are dying for another one. It just so happened that like when we first went to our first one, we beat Missouri. So now when you beat Missouri the first time you go, everybody thinks you're going to do it all the time. You know what I'm saying? They think like, so now like the next year when we went 16-0 in conference, they're like, and we didn't get to this tournament, they're like, oh, you guys were choked or whatever. Like, yeah, first of all, we were 16-0 in conference, so we didn't choke.
Right.
And somebody beat us, at the buzzer, in the tournament. I mean, it happened. So we went to the NIT that year against Virginia and lost by a couple points or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So it's like people don't understand the full pressure that we really go through when we in that MEAC tournament and everything like that. So, that's the thing I want to do.
That one bid is hard to get. It's probably gonna always be hard to get that one bid. Like, you know what I mean? Because I don't see them giving you guys like what is it, an at large. I don't see an at large coming there, so it's definitely crazy.
At large, I mean, we're gonna have to win. We play 31 games in the regular season. We're gonna have to win like 30 of them to get at large. I mean, honestly, or unless we beat some really big programs, on our schedule. But
yeah, like my coaches at Hampton, the girls coach there, David Sig, he coached me when I was young in high school before he started switched over to the girls side at our high school. So I remember he was, making the tournament a lot. I think one year he won crazy games. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He went out to Arizona. He beat Arizona girls. He beat some other girl, like really good girls team. And I thought everybody in the town thought they probably would have got like a 13 seed or something like that, or maybe crept down to 12. They still gave them like a 15 or a 16. Still played the best team out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, damn, it's just like no respect to it at all.
And a lot of it is like is because of the it's like you hate to say it, but a lot of it is a lot of some race involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like because we're in a predominantly black, well, not all black conference really.
Mm-hmm.
It's like people look at you like you're not going to be that good. When honestly our conference is comparable to the NEC, the Big South, the Atlantic Sun. All those conferences that get a little bit more hype than us. Like, we beat those teams on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? Like, we beat Big South teams. We beat NEC teams. We beat all those teams on a regular basis, and, we don't get the same credit because.
Yo, I tell kids that all the time, and I'm not just gassing because we're talking right now, but I'm like, yo, I just hate saying school names, but I be like, what's the difference between Norfolk State? Well, Hampton is Big South now, but I used to be like, what's the difference between Hampton, Norfolk State and Hampton, and then like Robert Morris and them schools? Like, you know what I'm saying? We don't want to go on a field trip. We just want to get out the area or something. Or
Yeah.
Basketball wise, I don't know what's the real difference. Like from somebody who's in the mix on that, trying to help kids go to college and stuff, and talking to other coaches and other programs, and you know what I mean. Like I like what Coach what Jones did up at Radford. He's been doing pretty well up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Mike is a good guy.
And he's just another black coach at another university. But I'm like, some of these programs I don't think people do the research. I just think kids and parents don't research and find out exactly what's going on, what the coaches are able to do, the type of connections a coach may have outside of it. The love that you're gonna get. You know what I mean? Like I went to a HBCU. I went to Hampton. You know what I mean? Just how the school is. You're gonna have fun. You know what I'm saying? And you're playing basketball, so you already got a one up because you're at a smaller school when it's probably how many students is it? 5,000, 6,000 students?
6,000, yeah, about 6,000
students. And you go to a school that's 25,000. You know what I'm saying? But you're one of the basketball players at a school that's only 6,000 students there, so you're gonna already popularity. People coming. Like you just wanna. It's crazy, like you know what I mean.
The thing that kills me is that when I see like kids who go to those other schools and they like on our campus party for homecoming, it's like you could have did that by just coming to Norfolk State. Like you didn't have to go somewhere else, and that's very comparable to us athletically, but come back to our homecoming. It's like I mean at first, and CJ would tell you, is that like at first, man, to be honest with you, like I hated kids who went somewhere else and then wanted to come back. You know, I was like, come on, man. We recruited him out of high school hard, and he went somewhere else and then come back. You know, like, I don't want him, man. You know, but, you know, if you're in Rome, you got to play with the Romans. You know what I'm saying? So that's the nature of the game. They want to go somewhere else, you know, and then they come back later. Then that's what we got to do to try to make, you know, the program be successful. But at first I hated that. Like, because, you know, you would see a kid, you know, you be walking around doing it could be a homecoming. I mean, there's a lot of kids that come to our Spartan Madness that don't go to our, you know, our campus. It's like, you know, you here for all of this stuff, but you could have been here in the uniform. I mean, you actually, you're here so much that I think that you go here, you know? So why not go here? You know?
Games, but I see the kids too myself, and I kind of think the same way. Me and CJ had that conversation before as well, like about that. And I just know, like you said, when you're in Rome, you got to play with the Romans. So you kind of got to, like, you probably could have stuck to that for a while, but after a while, you probably was going to have to come out. I was the same way with AAU. I'm like, dog, like, I recruited you when I was coaching 14U, 15U, I've been trying to get you in the org all these years. And then all of a sudden, something ain't happening for you over there. Now you calling out your parents, ringing my phone off the hook. It's only because something ain't happening for you the way it wanted, you know, at the other place. And like my guy, Coach Mack, the kid, we always call it field trips because he coaches at Bryan and Stratton. You know what I'm saying? A lot of kids like to go away to go to JUCO. And I'm like, yo, I don't think they do their research there either because Bryan and Stratton, you know, they had a lot of kids go to school, whether it's Division II.
Well, question. Bryan and Stratton is a very good program.
Yeah, so I'm like, I think you just gotta. They don't do the research properly. They don't look into the coaches there that have connections, AAU ties. So they're gonna have ties with college coaches on all levels. Cliff has kids that play ball, so it's just different things. I don't think people put in a whole lot of thought, you know, the thought process of it when they're selecting a school and stuff like that.
No, they don't. I mean, they just, like you said, they want to go on a field trip I mean, and I understand that a lot of times people want to get out their area because it's like, you know, being from New York, I see, you know, I'm a St. John's fan, you know, from just growing up in New York. But I also saw that, you know, at one point, you know, everybody went to, you know, St. John's from New York City. If you was like the top player in New York City, you probably went to St. John's, you know. But then it came to a point that some kids just want to, you know, get a different look. You know, like they want to, okay, I've been in New York the whole time, so I want to see what Virginia looks like. And it's vice versa. You know, I've been in Virginia the whole time, I want to see what it looks like. And if that's your reason, then fine, that's your reason. But don't let your reason be that program in Pittsburgh is better than Norfolk State. No, that's not a good enough reason. And that's what we try to strive for, to try to make it like not a good reason. Like, you know, your reason just better be better. You know, you're tired of Norfolk or 757 or, you know, Virginia, and you want to go somewhere else. But don't think that, you know, that program in the NEC is better than, you know, Norfolk State in the MEAC because, you know, ask them if we will play them, you know, if they will play us, you know, and usually no. What we do too a lot of times, man, honestly, on the recruiter front, you know, and CJ will tell you, we like, you know, I got like a little folder in my office, and I keep the emails of the coaches who say, nah, coach, we won't play y'all. Y'all too good, you know, and I keep them in a folder because this time as a recruit, I was like, well, your favorite school won't play us. And here's the evidence that they won't play us. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of people are not that transparent and things like that. You know, people, you know, they'll say they don't want to play us because we're too good, you know, in my email. But then they like will tell the kid, like they say, hey, B, you know, don't go to Norfolk State, man. They're trash or whatever. Well, I mean, we so bad. Why you don't play? You know, and things like that. So it's like for us, it's always a grind. That non-conference schedule is always a grind, man. It's always tough to get non-conference games because people don't want to play, and it gets tougher and tougher each year. So it's like a gift and a curse. It's like a sign of respect, but at the same time,
like Duke bad. He said
I got a good story about Duke too. And was it CJ? No, I think Vickers was there. Who's now the women's coach. We were supposed to play Duke in the preseason NIT the year that we went up there. We lost to East Carolina, then beat UNC Asheville. This is my first year coaching. We were supposed to play them. So like during the summer, it was set up. It was Duke versus Norfolk State, first round of preseason NIT. So I'm like, damn, my first year I got to play Duke right away, like at Cameron. You know what I mean? Like, well, you know, if you want to be in it, you got to be in it to win it, right? So this is my first year. Like, no lie, I had that email too. September, you know, before the tournament, they said, oh, we redid the brackets. or whatever, they switched and played UNC Asheville, and we had to play East Carolina.
Oh wow.
For the thing, and we were supposed to play Duke preseason NIT 2013, 2014 season. We were supposed to play them, and then after that, we couldn't play. I mean, we didn't play anymore. And then now, like, they they give out like guarantee money, which people don't know guarantee games are. Guarantee games is like when those bigger schools pay you money because it's supposed to be a guaranteed win for them and a guaranteed check for you,
They
with
call it
with a
pay.
pay game.
Mm-hmm.
So but their guarantee is too low. Like their guarantee, they think that like it's like an honor to play them. And it's like when we need the money for the program, it's not about the honor, man. Like if you want to play, 60,000, 70,000 to play, but Nebraska is playing 90,000 or 95,000,
We'll do that.
I'm going to do Nebraska. Like I don't look at it like an honor to go and play Duke, man. We try to get when we try to get our guarantee budget together, we try to get that budget together, and we try to honestly play a team that we could, maybe beat. You know what I mean? Like, and not say we can't beat Duke, because stuff like that. But we all know Duke is Duke now. And you're playing them in Cameron. It's going to be the fight of your life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
But it'd be dope to do it, and then that's a recruitment piece for you too. We playing these guys, we playing these type of teams and what like that, so that'll definitely help out with that.
No,
so
without question.
I know you've probably been getting this a lot lately because of everything that's going on with a lot of talk about HBCUs and a lot of things that's going on in the current state of the United States that we're in right now with a lot of protesting and things of that nature. Do you have like with your guys, like if they want to protest or get involved or anything like that, do you guys have anything against it, or what I'm saying, or is it encouraged?
No, we don't have nothing against it. I mean, I think that if you grow up, long enough as a young black man, your whole life is a protest every day. You know what I mean? You're protesting against something. So, if you're going to go protest, you go protest. I want to encourage. I'm not really big on the looting and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I see, I can see both sides of the coin, but, I'm not, encouraging my guys to go get that. I just joked with them the other day in a group, session that, if I see some of you guys with new Rolexes and stuff like that, then I know what y'all be doing with your life.
Right.
But, so I'm not encouraging that to go, knock open the jewelry store, because that's not doing anything for the cause. And, in my opinion, I know it might bring some attention, but it's not bringing a lot to the cause. But they want to go protest solidly and stuff like that. You can, do what you want. Go protest, man. Stand up for your right.
Do it.
So,
Tell the kids, the young kids, like, they ask me about it. I'm like, if you're doing it, go early. Kind of like what started and. Before the ruckus gets going, because it's probably most of the time it's going to it could turn into something else, or whatever. So I just tell them to go early. And
the thing too, also do it from your heart though. Don't just do it because everybody else doing it.
Right.
Do it because you really believe and you want to take a stand. Like, because, now a situation goes wrong and you just out there just because you think it's the cool thing to do, and then it goes wrong, that's not a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, do it because it's from your heart and you really truly believe that, about the injustice that's going on in America and in society and things like that. Don't just do it for clout chasing and things like that. Just like I tell these guys too that there's a lot of talk even before this whole situation started with the unfortunate situation with George Floyd and things like that. There's a lot of talk about kids coming to HBCUs, like sending the top kids to HBCUs. Now, of course, that talk has been increased. I've got 25 messages from from like programs. And honestly, maybe it's a change, because like I've got messages from programs, like top AAU programs that I don't really have a relationship with, or I have a minor relationship with, and they're talking about sending kids to HBCUs, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I tell them that, it's going to take somebody to do it. Like, who's going to do it? Who's going to help facilitate the top 10 kids in the country to come to a HBCU? Because it's a monkey see, monkey do society. You know how it is, man. It's like if I see B do it, then I'm doing it because it's cool to do it. It's just like, I think it's cool sometimes to say that you want to go to HBCU. Like, I need you to really believe it. Now, I do think some kids recently who have said they want to go to HBCU really truly believe it in their heart. So I think that's a different story. But I think these kids that saying they want to go to HBCU, do it. Like, don't be scared to do it. I think a lot of times as a people, we're minority. We're like followers. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody be the pioneer. Like, say like, I'm going. I'm ranked number 1 in the country. I'm going. And I'm ranked. You could be ranked number 25, 30 in the country and say, I'm going, and then try to encourage one of your boys to do it. Just like how they do it at the big schools. Like you see, like when number 5 commits, they say, yo, he's working on number 10 and number 11 to come. Oh, well, okay, we'll do that to a HBCU. I mean, we need it. You know what I mean? Like, because it's like I said before, NBA scouts, the few that I know, pretty well, their job is to recruit the best players in the world. Their job is not to recruit Duke and Carolina. So if you're one of the 60 best players in the world at that point, they're going to recruit you. I see one person said recruit up north. We already talked about that already. We done been there and did that. I'm from New York, so it's like we get I recruit up north all the time. So
I saw that. I said, yeah, I said, yeah, he
I see my son's AAU coach says, yeah, I hear you, coach. I can't really say the name because of whatever, but I see you, coach. We already got that going. So, but it's like, it's going to take a couple kids to do it, man, and not be afraid to do it, because if you can play, you can play, and they're going to get you there, man. They're going to find you and stuff like that. You look at other people. I mean, people forget that Steph Curry came from Davidson, man. Like, Davidson is a solid program. Take that away from them. But, like, he came from Davidson. He didn't go to one of the Blue Bloods. Like, and he's one of the best players that, people are going to put him. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, and stuff like that. Damian Lillard came from Weber State. I mean, like, you can make it from wherever if you're one of the best players in the world.
His backcourt partner came from Lehigh.
Yeah, I mean, they won the game the same time we won the game that year. They won 2 hours later. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's just the kids and the coaches too. Like from grassroots coaches to high school coaches, the parents really got to believe that it's okay for their kids to go to the thing. We dispel rumors all the time. People think that, like, why they think this, I don't know. But people think we eat like McDonald's for pregame and stuff like that. And I'm like, nah, man, we eat at the some of the best restaurants you can, eat at, for a team. That is, like, we're not taking the team to Roof Chris, but we're gonna, eat at, somewhere good, and people think that, like, you eat at, like, McDonald's, and people think that, like, oh man, those bus trips must be crazy. I'm like, yeah, to like Baltimore and DC or something, but like people think that we're taking a bus to Texas, and like, we're not taking a bus to Texas, man. We taking we taking a bus to, I see one of my college teammates on my McDonald's. Yeah, we was Division III, Joe. We're supposed to be at a McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? Like, and back in 96, 97 rather, I should say. You know what I'm saying? But it's like
2020 right now. It's a lot of big changes. It's 2020 right now. So I think all, what I'm saying, because I know you're a trainer guy too. So I think all coaches, I would think, into the way today's times are, everybody's more in tune with body and nutrition and all that. So, that's crazy. I'm sure those conversations are crazy. You probably think in your head, like, this is nuts. You know what I'm saying? When people ask you those wild questions. What's up, Coach Custis? I see you tapping.
Yeah, Ace. Yeah. Now, people ask me some wild questions, B. You never feel, like, it's like the stigma is so bad out there that it's going to take, like, 100 more of these platforms with other coaches to dispel the rumor, about what do, what I mean? And then, granted, some schools got some bad budgets. Don't get me wrong, but a lot don't, man. Like, a lot really don't. Like, like I said, we're not driving to California, man. Like, we're flying. Like, we went to play in Hawaii. Like, those overseas trips that happen every 4 years. We were supposed to go to Spain this year, but the COVID. Like, we couldn't go to Spain. So
that's on my notes. I don't think people know that y'all do those type of things.
No, we went to Costa Rica 4 years ago. I've been to Bahamas twice and things like that. So it's like, once again, if those other schools are doing it, we're going to do it too. Like, those foreign tours that they're doing, we doing it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, hey, man, we're going to do everything they do. Like I said, next year it's postponed to next year, the Spain trip.
Right.
But we were going to Spain this summer. Like, it's like we're not doing nothing different.
Dude, I appreciate it, Dane.
Yeah, Dane, I appreciate that guy, man. He's a good guy right there.
Oh yeah, and CJ said that he was gonna hold Dane accountable for what he said in the live too about getting in the mix with the HBCUs, and he's my guy. He's from.
Oh no, Dane is in the mix, man. I mean, yeah. Dane hit me up, he hit me on Twitter. We talked to about some couple things, man. He in the mix, man. He in the mix. He's trying to do some good things with HBCUs.
Yeah, so I see this guy. He asked. I like this question about Terry Butler. He was asking about marketing and advertising can help change some of the narrative to that. I'm not sure how that goes into you guys' budget about marketing and advertising. Like, I don't quite understand. Because I see people saying that, so I'm not sure what they mean. I mean, I know what advertising means and stuff like that, but oh yeah,
Well,
18 minutes left. Yeah, you're right too.
yeah. You got 18, yeah. But I mean, with the market, I mean that's it's a different department than our budget, per se, like a basketball budget.
Okay.
It's a separate department. Now they have hired someone new in our marketing department, for us. But I think he was asking about the conference. I mean the conference, that's a different question. I can't really
Mm.
answer about the conference because I really don't know, what their marketing budget is or their plan or anything like that. But I know that we're trying to, as a university, trying to do more to get more attention to our sports that do well, like men's basketball, like women's basketball, things like that, so trying to get people to understand, exactly what we're trying to do here. Because, like you said, we're trying to be more than just just a good team. Like we do I did when my first year as a coach, I did a back to school drive for the community.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
those too.
Yeah, so this year, I mean, it might be a little different this year because we were giving away free haircuts,
Yeah.
there was bounce houses, face paint, all this stuff like that. And I mean, that comes out of like, my pockets, the coaches' pockets, the kids too. Like I tell the kids, try to get them to understand about giving back to the community. Because once again, like, I say I'm the head coach of the university in the community, but at the same time, the kids have a responsibility to the community. So it's like, they chip in like $10 each, whatever. Some, depending on the situation, some might do more or whatever. And we get, even more school supplies, for the community. And last year we had 280 people come to the thing to get supplies.
Oh
You know
wow.
what I'm saying? So
I stopped last year just to see, just to see it because it's always dope to see what y'all put on for the city. I mean, Norfolk is a black city too, so like those type of things go a long way.
my thing is, man, is if we're gonna be Norfolk State, then we gotta represent Norfolk. You know what I'm saying? We gotta represent the community. Like we can't we can't be in Norfolk and not do nothing for Norfolk. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So like that was my theory that we gonna. I mean, we could do this. We could. I mean, I can't give you the whole city tickets and stuff like that. That's beyond my control. But I can give away out of my own pockets or whatever, like some book bags and some notebooks and convince some barbers to do some haircuts and things like that. For the city, and we've been able to do that.
Yeah, and then like coming to your camps, like me and CJ talked about this camp stuff before, like, you guys, you give out shorts. Like some of my guys went to the camp. I'm like, damn, they gave out those. You know what I'm saying? Nice shorts. You know what I'm saying? Nice T-shirts to go along with it. Like it's really ran on a level. You know what I'm saying, that it should be. I've gone to other camps, and the other camps don't do that at other big schools. They get, a jersey for the moment, and then they take the jerseys back. But I just think some of that stuff that you guys are doing, I could tell that you're going above and beyond what you have to do to make it look a certain way or to be perceived a certain way. I mean, because I'm just older. Like younger people may not see that, but I can visually see it when I come into it. You know what I'm saying? How the coaches is in tune with the camp, how your players, you know what I'm saying? You're not letting them BS around in the camp, in tune and involved with the camp and with the drills. I know you do a couple of different camps, like level, but I can tell that you guys put thought into it, and it's like not just thrown together on some just a money grab for you. You know what I'm saying? Like I can tell that you really care about that type of stuff.
See, my thing is that we don't really make any money from elite camp and stuff like that. Like we don't make anything. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but I feel like it's not like if you try and do like a true elite camp, then elite camp is not supposed to be for that. It's supposed to be to find elite players to be in your program. So like, okay, I'm gonna give a T-shirt, shorts. All right, I don't care because some people say like, why are you doing all that? It's like, oh, these kids are so used to a T-shirt. All right, well, I want them to be used to T-shirt and shorts. So now when they go to somebody else's school that doesn't do that for them, they're like, man, Norfolk State was better, man. So my thing is like I used to work for 50 Cent, and it's like it was always about marketing with 50. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's about those kids, like I said, could be potential recruits, and things like that like going to look at your school different than the other school. Or when you do something like at a day camp and you get Kyle O'Quinn, the NBA player that other people are not doing there, is that you look at it like, those are potential fans for you. They might not be potential recruits from your day camp, but they could be, honestly, too, in the future. But it's at the very least a potential fan there. You know what I'm saying? Or even like the back to school stuff. And I know a lot of times people might come to the back to school stuff and then they don't ever come to a basketball game, and that's cool because it's not all about just just give a tip, tip for tat, stuff like that.
Right.
But it's like you would hope that, if we gave you a book bag full of free supplies, so you don't have to, buy the kids stuff, that you at least come back to a game, check us out, because I think we got a pretty decent product. So,
Right.
it's about, it's a lot of things. It's like twofold, and hopefully people look at it like that, as well.
They said, okay. So I wanted to ask you too about, because I know a lot of people, they probably thought we were just going to be talking about recruiting and all that. So I know some people been hitting me up wanting to talk about that a little bit. Like some of the stuff, some of the questions I was getting about, I was like, that's kind of like, can they play? I mean, that's one of the biggest things. They tell me what you look for in kids or what you look for in players when you're out on the recruiting trail, like for guys. I told them I was going to get into a little bit of that because I've been getting some text messages.
I think the thing is, I see people on here like, it's different people, saying give my kid a chance and and recruit and stuff like that. Like it's not all about giving everybody a chance. Like we have 13 scholarships. Division I has 13 scholarships. Once again, I said at the beginning of this is a $1 million business that we do, right? You can't just hire anybody at $1 million business. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't, because if you hire anybody in $1 million business, your business is going to be not a business anymore. You know what I'm saying? So like it's about like, are they good enough? That's why like you see like places like J.P. Morgan, Merrill Lynch, stuff like that. You go through extensive interview process. You get a job there. It's the
background
same
check.
Like, you got to fill a need. Like if you got a kid that's a point guard, he could be one of the best point guards around. But if I already have 3 point guards,
you don't need them.
I don't need them. And it is not like to say that your kid isn't good, and people take it like that. They take it like, oh, coach, don't think my kid is good or whatever, whatever. Like, nah, it's not because I don't think your kid is good. It's we don't need that position. So, and then he's like, well, some people always say like, well, I'm going to send them over to, Coppin or Morgan. Okay, well, they might need a point guard. That's cool. I mean, but right now, I need somebody 6'9" right now.
Yeah.
And then also, understand, like, I think the levels, too. Like, I tell people sometimes all the time when they, like, try to think that they kid could play at our level, I say, well, when's the last time you seen us play? Because I got that from one of my NBA scouts or whatever, because it's like he got a job as an NBA scout, and he was like, so-and-so, this college kid could play, for the draft or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And they was like, they made him watch like 10 games, to see if that kid was even good, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, I see
that's crazy because
philosophies, like we already talked about that. Like, the same question over and over.
It's gonna be on my story too. I saved the other one already on my story. So I tell kids this because I know we've taken some kids to like some basketball practices. Yeah. And so I used to live in Hampton because I'm from Hampton or whatever. So I got a relationship with Buck too. So I've taken kids to see like games over there, games on Norfolk State or practice or something. I'm like, yo, you don't practice this hard. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't play this. You see how hard they going, and you think like you might think the MEAC may not be one of the top conferences of this and that. So if you think that in your head, which is crazy, how you think you can play in the MEAC if you ain't going as hard as him? You know what I'm saying? Like it just doesn't make sense to me.
Like
you know
people
what I'm
think
saying?
anything. Like people think like about the I guess the old MEAC. I mean, maybe before I got here, like there was like 6'5" centers running around, something like that, maybe.
Nah.
Like, nah, man, we got like 6'5" guards running around. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I tell people all the time, like, when's the last time you seen us play? Like, when's the last time you seen a MEAC game before you tell me, your 5'9" power forward could play for me? Like, your 5'9" power forward can't play for me or anybody else in this conference. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, understand that before you think that your kid can play. There's a lot of ballers in the conference. It's not just about Norfolk State. There's a lot of people that can play in the conference. You know what I'm saying? So, but that might not get the recognition that they deserve and things like that. There's a lot of good coaches in the conference. I mean, like you said, I got a couple accolades and I got the record and stuff like that and blah blah blah. But at the same time, I see somebody said Power 5 get more basketball. No, every school gets 13.
All D1s, yeah.
All D1s get 13 scholarships, so that no one gets more than the other. They just add more players because more people go pro every year.
Right.
They add 6 more every year, something like that. But with the recruiting stuff, man, just understand that one, you can't take everybody because at the end of the day, I love my team and that's my family. You right there, you're my extended family. But it's like you also got to worry about your family. Are you having enough, good players to keep your career alive? This is like my career. This is not like my, like my hobby. You know what I'm saying? Like this is my like
Mm-hmm.
profession. Like this is like how like I get my family, where they gotta get. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's I just can't take anybody. I gotta take the
Mm-hmm.
13 best players with my judgment. I mean,
Right.
you might be right. Maybe your kid is better than mine. But when I seen him play, I don't think he was better. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
And
that's
you
just
got
what
to
I
lay
see.
eyes on them. You are, I mean, at the end of the day, it is your $1 million corporation. So you got to lay eyes on them. You got to see it. You know what I mean? You got to
Yeah.
see it for yourself. I tell people that all the time. Like some coaches are a little more lenient. You know what I mean? Because I send out film. I send out stuff to people. I'm like, yo, they might want to see you. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? They might want to see you. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Once we start playing again, it'll be a little different. So I'm just gonna jump into one thing real quick because I seen just recently, right, with the HBC stuff. See, Mikey Williams got extended an offer. So a kid like a Mikey Williams, I didn't even know his mother went to Hampton. She probably went to Hampton while I was there because I was like, wow, I didn't even know that. And she played softball there too. So you think a kid like that, do you think it's more difficult, or like when you're recruiting against, because a kid like that is probably going to get recruited by PWIs or Blue Bloods. It's the same approach. You take the same approach with recruiting them.
Well, I can't really talk about him because that's a violation to talk about specific
Oh,
recruit. But I'll just say a blanket statement that like you will hope a kid that's like a top 10 or top 5 kid in the country. You will hope that he will actually give you a chance. I mean, a lot of times they won't give you a chance because of what we've been blinded by society that you have to go to Power 5 to make it. A lot of times if you're like one of those 1 through 10 kids in the country, I mean, more than likely, barring any kind of injury or anything like that, you're probably gonna go to the league. So it's
right.
like you can go anywhere in the world, and I
It
say
ain't gonna matter.
not just the country, the world, because you look at kids like LaMelo Ball and R.J. Hampton, who went to Australia. They're coming to get drafted this year. So it's like you can go anywhere in the world and still make it if you're one of the best players in the world at that time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I hope more kids will take that approach, that giving HBCU chances, because I think that socially our kids would have a better social time, at HBCU, and athletically, if you're good, you're good, So,
Right.
yeah.
He said he said he your teammate. He said you ignored him.
Yeah, I think he's being spam right now. I used to ignore him in college too. So it ain't nothing new.
Right.
Because if
Right.
he was listening for the first hour, he would know, right?
Yeah, we definitely touched on that.
Yeah.
Heavy touched on that. We
Yeah.
definitely heavily touched on that. That's really dope though, because I just think they just got to give it a chance, give it an opportunity. So I think once one of them do it and jump in the mix and come on and get down with the program, whether it's you, hopefully it's you to get one of them first. You know what I mean? I think it'll just start a trickle effect.
Yeah.
Do you think the G League initiative may slow it down with some of the top 10, 15 guys in the country?
Yeah, because we can't offer anybody 500,000. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
So I see somebody said we got 3 minutes. I think
3
we got
minutes.
6. I think we got 6 left. I think we started at 9:03. I mean, right? 9:03. We think we started, right? So we got about
Yeah,
6 left.
we started like 9:03. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I did.
Okay. Yeah. So, but like I can't offer anybody like $500,000 a year to play basketball at Norfolk State. And I know that sometimes you got to do what's best for your family. It'll be great to come to a HBCU, but I can't offer you $500,000 a year. Like
Yeah.
what I said before. That's half my budget. You know
Yeah,
what
for
I'm saying?
sure. And then
So
somebody asked us about recruiting in DC and Baltimore. They definitely recruiting up there. They got a coach and they staff from DC or Maryland. They got to
yeah.
recruit DC Baltimore. That's right here.
Now we want to get that. We do want to get in that area a little bit
A little
more.
heavier.
Yeah, but we do. I mean, we want to recruit that area. We know, and that's a hotbed for talent.
Yes, sir.
There's a
Any
lot of
coach that coach.
hotbeds.
Yeah.
Without question. So that's the other thing too. Back to your recruiting question.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people don't understand that like a lot of people like kids can play all across the country. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the other thing that we was getting involved with. Like people are like, well, why you didn't want in the past, I should say, why you didn't want the Virginia kids and stuff like that. It's like, okay, well, first they gotta want us, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Which is happening now, which is a great thing, But two, there's a kid in Alaska that might be better than that kid, over there, and then we gotta do what we gotta do to keep the ship rolling, because I'd rather you get mad at me for not recruiting, this than to to get mad at me about losing. Because when you get mad at me about losing, that means I'm in jeopardy. If you get mad at me just because you don't like the way I recruit, but then if you can't get mad at me about academics, about about winning, then it's okay. Then
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Academics and core classes.
Well,
What you want to know about them? They gotta have them. It's different. They got the AAU coaches and high school coaches should be talking to their kids about the academic about
yeah,
getting into school.
I know that's Mike. That's my son's.
Oh, okay.
That's my son's AAU coach. I got to tell Mike, yo, put me on your live and I'll talk about that because he got like a little show too.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you gotta have 16 core courses and stuff like that. You have 10 locked in before time and everything like that. So it's all good with that stuff.
Yeah, you definitely got to do that. You know what I'm saying? I try to make sure all the guys would know that type of stuff, especially if you're trying to be an athlete. You should know that. Even though a lot of them, that's a good question though. Even though a lot of people don't know it, and it changes a lot. I think it changed. It changes. Like, did it just change some of the criteria stuff like a couple of years back? It just changed.
Yeah, they lock in 10 now before your senior year or whatever. Before you can make them up, now you can't make them up anymore. Stuff like that. So
3 minutes. Yeah, I got it. So I'm not gonna hold coach all night. I just want to get 3 nuggets from you. You know what I'm saying? Like whether it's life nuggets. How do I determine who on my show? I don't know. That's a good question, Nice. That's a good question. Like, for real, I don't know. Like my first 3 guys that I've had up here, like have been like guys that I respect in the basketball game heavy. So I just jumped all the way out the window, and it's sort of like anything else that you try to do. I try to jump out real big early, and then you know what I mean. I'm gonna reach back out to the town. That's why I got Coach Jones up here right now too, and I'm gonna reach out to some of the players and get some of the guys up here too, players as well. But just 3 nuggets, whether it's life nuggets, basketball nuggets, whatever you think is real important for guys or women, girls, basketball, all of that.
I mean, well, one thing with coaches, I think, be yourself. I think everybody's path is different. Some people think that you had to play at Duke to like work at Duke, and maybe you do, but you don't have to play at Duke to work at, anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? In the country. Like I said, I did the high school thing, the AAU thing, the D3 thing. I was a D3 player, and now I'm a Division I head coach. So just continue to grind and be yourself, but also understand it's going to be work to achieve those goals. As far as players, whether boys or girls that might be on this chat, is just to keep working, throughout this time, just keep working, and usually hard work pays off. If you're not working, then it's going to show eventually. It's like, people you get fooled, but so long, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, keep working, and also, understand it's a twofold thing that you got to do your work, academically to play athletically. That's why the term student athlete, not athlete student, so. Understand that you got to, make sure you do all this stuff to be able to play at any level, collegiately or, the NBA and everything like that. So, just keep working, man. That's my biggest thing, because everything I've done is keep working, and
that's
everybody stays safe too in these crazy times.
Yeah.
Corona and the protesting and everything like that. Everybody stays safe during this time.
For sure. And Coach, like I said, I ain't gonna hold you on that. I definitely appreciate it. Like I said, man, you were the first head coach, the first coach I had at all, and then the first head coach. Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? I just stress that a lot. Like a lot of head coaches don't, you know what I'm saying? Like I know I'm in the town and I've met you a lot of times, and you know what I'm saying, things of that nature, but a lot of coaches may not take the time out to jump on somebody's, Instagram live. We didn't plan none of the questions. It kind of, you know what I'm saying, everything went, you know what I'm saying, just off the top of the dome and stuff like that. So like I really appreciate that a whole lot. And like I said, I can't wait to get you guys get back in the gym. You know what I'm saying, and stuff of that nature like that, and then we, I could come back over and see what's going on. And how you think about the season? That's one last thing. We got a minute. You think the season coming back? How early y'all think, or how late you think you may start this year?
Yeah, it's definitely going. I think it's definitely going to come back. I think that we just still looking for a timetable, but I think it's definitely going to be back in some shape, form, or fashion. There's a lot of contingency plans. Whether non-conference maybe be shortened, conference season be condensed, but every contingency plan is about playing though.
Yeah, word.
So we're gonna play at some point this year.
Oh, that's real dope. Good. So yeah, we down to 30 seconds. Like I said, Coach, I appreciate it a lot, Jones.
Oh, somebody kept asking about the championship DVD. Some people asked about it's championshipproductions.com, and it's floppy defense. So, you could go look at that, championshipproductions.com. You could go check it out.
All right, and I'm gonna let you out, Coach. And like I said, I
All right.
appreciate it. All everybody that checked in, y'all be good, be safe, be blessed. You know me and you will rap later on, Coach.
Yeah, for sure.
All right,
All
my
right.
God. I appreciate it.
No doubt, man. I
All
got you.
right.
All right. Later.